Good evening. Alex with Jomon, Jack of all, master of none. The project today, or at least at the moment, is this little sensor. More specific, deleting its effect, but keeping the hole that it plugs up. So, I hit something at night. I don't know what. It hit over here. Bum. I feel the whole car, pretty much everywhere lurch from just this corner. And okay, nothing flew, I heard nothing depart from the vehicle, so I turned around, take a look. Nothing was there anymore. So, months later, I'm now dealing with low windshield washer, low. Even after I've filled it up, still low. Here's the pump for the washer fluid to drive it up there, which is why old one, salvaged it, had an oversized tube, pulled that line off, just made sure as long as the connection fits inside this tube, make sure it's lower, drained down. Even went in the car, turned it on, and turned at least electronics I turned on, and then I actuate it to tell it to pump, getting it out much faster because it just trickles out otherwise. I don't want to sit there waiting for a gallon to trickle out if I don't have to. So the sensor goes in. There's a hole just within this recession that you might be able to see right there, that little bit of black. Can't really get the wires out this way to reach, so I unplugged the pump and threw it back through that opening in the grill or the bumper cover. So work on that. And I did find out just a closed circuit is all it needs. So I got a small paper clip, clipped it in half. There's the other half. Made a U out of it, plugged it into the end. It's got a different plug than this, but plugged it into the end. I keep going back. Okay, checked it. Sure enough, the warning is off. It's reading that it's not low anymore. I never use it. I've never gone so low in my washer fluid that a sensor like this would be needed. But that's me, and I don't mind fixing it my way, because if I remember correctly, yes, there's some electrical tape on here. I plan to make this a little bit harder for it to just straight fall out. I got to get some Teflon tape because it's even thinner and can act like tape when you put a few layers on. I want to also make sure that the moisture cannot get by here, so thus the Teflon tape. Plug that in. I also don't want these the connections inside to rust from moisture, so fetch some of my dielectric grease, put some on the ends, and electrical tape that on there. I'm going to do one more bind or several wraps just to make sure this whole thing is fine, because it's just going to sit in there. It's going to sit somewhere in here because it's not going to plug back into this. I don't need it to. It doesn't. This little bugger doesn't function. And again, I think my initial call or price inquiry on this is $80. So, yeah, $80 is just nuts. But I'm going to make that plug disappear in a nice tightly bound pack or thing of electrical tape, stick it back in, plug that back on, get this Teflon coated as well, and then stick it back in its hole so that I don't have a gaping hole for the fluid to leak out of. But then I'm gonna, get my tire back on. This is just the wheel well guard, kind of fastened out of my way so I can do this without having a third arm. But every single time I touch this and put the connector back in, the improvised connector there, I went back in my cab, turned it back on. Actually, I'll show you. Because I don't want to go through all this just to turn it back on when I get the tire fastened back on. And then, hey, it's yelling at me again. There's a warning. Trunk open, hood open. There's the regular. That's what I want to see. Shut the hood, shut the trunk, no problem. But otherwise, it would read windshield washer fluid low. Every single time you end up in park. Whether you stop at your house after driving home from work, after you fire it up, you drive 2 feet, put it back in park. It might even work in neutral, I don't know. But every single time you put it in park, that warning would come on. And it would not go away until you override it. Which, not a big deal, but over time started to kind of piss me off. So, I decided to do something about today. Took that all off. Again, the fact that there's no warning is because this little paper clip is bent in half, plugged in with dielectric grease on the ends, and now I wanted to show you before I wrapped it even heavier in electrical tape and threw these back in. Because after I'm done dealing with this, I no longer need to worry about these ends. I'll plug this one back in, and I just need to get some Teflon tape and wrap this probably several times. I did the electrical tape initially to give it a kind of a thicker base layer. Teflon to hopefully make it a bit slightly more tighter, and just trying it to see how it deals with the moisture. Though I know the electrical tape is not the best. Its adhesion manner in this its adhesion ability in this manner is probably not going to be the best to plastic. So I like its ability to be thicker, but I don't trust it to stay on. That's where the Teflon I'm going to try. Just several rolls, at least wraps. So this end's gonna I think I'm gonna have to plug that up too with electrical tape. I just don't care to have this get plugged up. There's no use. It don't matter right now, but right now this is just serving as a glorified plug. And technically, right there, I'm pretty sure this is the float, or what's left of the float mechanism. The rest of it's probably sitting in my reservoir. And I'm guessing when this busted off, so when I got hit, whenever I hit that thing really hard, I'm guessing the fluid level, slight concussive force of the fluid under that kind of instantaneous shock probably broke that. And you see how easy it is for me to go back and forth. There's no clicking, no nothing, no spring. So I'm trying to figure out, it's like, I think more than just the float is broke. Because I can't see anything. I'm like, how? I don't see wires. I see nothing. I see no contacts, no nothing on here. So I think something internal is busted too. But if this truly works and stays working for a year, 2 years, maybe more, and this stays doing its job as a glorified plug, I just did an $80, potentially an $80 fix in under an hour. What's time worth to you? So God bless. This is Axel with Jomon, Alex, Jack of all, master of none. God bless, and do not stop learning.